Alrighty, howdy neighbors, and welcome back to Crimson Gray. I found a walkthrough so we can get all of the endings. It's just gonna... Oh, you've unlocked at least one bonus from the previous game. These will make positive outcomes more likely and negative outcomes less so. But with these bonuses, keep the original balance. And then we're gonna skip all the ones that we already have. And the first one we're gonna do is Smile. Pot up. Oh, we have to tell Mrs. Smith. Ew. John found Mrs. Smith in her office, and she gave him a friendly smile. Everything okay, John? I think someone is getting into my locker. They're leaving things in it. What kind of things? Little notes. They're making me nervous. Do you have one of the notes? Yes, right? But patting his pockets, he discovered that he had left them back at his desk. Of course he would screw even that up. John, are you feeling well? You think I'm crazy, don't you? You've been under a lot of stress lately. Please make sure you keep taking your medication. No, I'm serious. I don't have anything now, but there really have been things in my locker. I don't say that I disbelieve you, but we'd need more evidence to take action. You can always talk to me about it, okay? No, clearly I can't. Dots. Especially if you get any kind of threat. My door is always open. Dots. Now, would you like a quick therapy session? You look like you need it. I reluctantly agreed and lay down on the couch. He soon relaxed, and by the time he headed back to class with a note, he felt much less depressed. Ms. Smith was probably right. The teachers couldn't help him with this. John left the school in a brisk walk, finished his homework quickly, and fell into bed. The world was still gray, but perhaps not as dark as it had been before. Ooh. I can't even skip. When he woke up the next day, he felt even better. Things would be fine so long as he kept everything in perspective, maybe. Oh, there we go. Why did you try to tell Mrs. Smith, don't you like me? I don't like her. She's always talking to you. She's awful. She doesn't deserve you. Oh. I don't wanna let her down. Fuck. I have to let her down gently. Lizzie, I don't know you very well yet. Do you really want me to say those words carelessly? No. Of course, you're right. Stupid, so stupid. You could never love someone like me. I didn't say that. I just wanted to get to know you better, really. Yes. We should get to know each other very well. No. John didn't reject me, that's all that matters. Isn't it horrible that we're in different classes? We should be together. I love these little tidbits. Why won't you accept my love? Why, John, why? That's a little intense line of conversation. Can we just chat? Okay. Tell me things. I'll know everything about you. She's very upset that we said no. And then this one, we talk to Lizzie, which we already did. And then we go to the library. Stuck at the library, John did his best to research the possible medications among the books, even asking librarians for help. It felt really ineffectual. He wished there was a better way to get information, but there wasn't a lot of options. In one of his classes, they claimed that computers would eventually make things easier, but their school couldn't afford any. One of the few things that he could do was skim through various books about mental illness, references to symptoms like Lizzie's. Her case sounded much worse than anything he'd read about. All articles suggested that most mentally ill people are non-violent, but he knew that wasn't true of Lizzie. Though there wasn't a lot of current information about Koitek, he did find some. There were crackpots who felt their medicine was ineffective. Even Paxitine had critics who felt it was being rushed to market. John forced himself to stop reading about that, since it just made him feel worse. Then he focused on selecting potential drugs for Lizzie. 2 showed up as potential candidates, Yandaquil or... I still can't say it. Nilazine. According to studies, Nilazine calmed people down but had a tendency to flatten emotions, which a lot of patients hated. In contrast, Yandaquil had better reviews. Other than nausea as a side effect, it seemed to do a pretty good job in calming violent people. Without either of the drugs... Oh, whether either of the drugs is right for Izzy, that was an entirely different question. Whee! Oh. I wondered how intense she'd be if... Hold on. Back. Remember, she teeth got dressed, combed his hair, and realized he was acting like he was getting ready for a date. I wonder how intense she'd be if he had accepted her confession. Or was she worse this way? We are taking... Yandaquil! Sunday was a miserable slog through every second. John gave up on accomplishing anything whatsoever and just laid in bed feeling worse about himself. He fell asleep early and woke up in the early morning, not feeling better. That was impossible after a day wallowing in himself, but suddenly his energy was back. And he needed it, because he hadn't accomplished anything that he needed to get to do over the weekend. He set to working feverishly on Monday's homework. By the time he needed to go to school, his eyes were gritty and his good mood was gone, but he was ready. High-functioning, John sighed and headed to school. He was actually shocked not to see Lizzie. But, not even watching him from a distance. But after the weekend, it would be awkward to hang out as friends, so he ended up spending most of the day alone. At lunch, he decided he might as well go up to the roof again, and he found Lizzie already there. Dots. Oh, hi, Lizzie. Sorry if I was a jerk Saturday. No, it's not your fault, I am. Wait, what? Part of me is gone now. It was dangerous, but it was part of me. She stood up and looked at him, and he realized that she was standing at the very edge. Oh, fuck. Last time they stood up there, their positions had been reversed, and he hoped that wasn't a bad omen. All I want is to be with you, John, for us to be together. I would do anything to make that happen, anything. But I don't think I could hurt someone. Not anymore. It feels so strange. But this is gonna make you feel strange for a while, but you don't like violence, do you? Do you want me to be different? He knew he should answer, but his throat felt dry and his mind was numb. I'll change myself for you, John. If that's what it takes for us to be together, I'll change whatever you need me to. Is there part of me you don't like? I'll get rid of it. I'll tear it out. I'll cut it away right now. John knew that he needed to do something to reassure her, to stop her from going down that self-destructive path, but he couldn't bring himself to speak. Then he stepped forward and embraced her. She gave a soft gasp and wrapped her arms around her torso. But she pushed into him, her head nuzzled against his chin. Dots, stay with me, okay? Please promise you won't ever leave me. He nodded, and she gave a happy squeal, but his mouth was still far too dry to speak. And they ate lunch together. Ooh. No, she's sort of stalking me. You're speaking casually, right? Stalking is an actual crime, you know. You should report that to the... No, nothing like that. Good. I assumed as much, since it looked a little more than that to me. And along those lines, I have to ask, have you two been intimate? And then, no. Oh, that was helping, right? I don't might be able to get more if you want it. That's so sweet, but not necessary. Yeah, I understand how I need to change. I don't need it anymore. Before, when I confessed to you, you didn't give me a clear answer. Will you now, John? Do you like me? Lizzie, yes, I like you. But I want proof more than just friends. Can we do something together? Can we go somewhere together? Somewhere romantic? And then we take her hand. Where is it? There it is. And skippity-doo-dah, skippity-day. The look Lizzie gave to her mother. His eyes shouldn't have belonged to a human child. John didn't know what to think for a second long, so he rushed out of the room as fast as he could. Desperate to take his mind off of that unpleasant thought, John looked around for anything else. The door to the next bedroom was jammed, but he wrenched it open. Stared. The room was filled with pictures of him. Oh, fuck! His yearbook pictures. And lots of pictures of him in class. Pictures she must have taken herself. Oh, fuck. Pictures of him sleeping in his own bed. Or he just stood there trembling. And John snapped back to his senses. He immediately stepped back, closed the door, trying not to make a sound. Told himself he shouldn't be so surprised. He knew she was obsessed, but it still shook him. He was inside his stalker's house. John? Yes, I just wandered off and come back. Good, I have something to show you. Hey, this thing! What the fuck is up, Lizzie? Oh shit! What are you doing with that axe? You don't trust me, John. That makes me so sad. I am enthralled. You think I'm gonna trust you when you're coming at me with an axe? Try to be patient. I can't wait any longer. So I need to take matters into my own hands. Hold still, John. Oh fuck. I have options. Fuck. Hold on. Beg. Lizzie, please don't do this. John, I won't hurt you. You know that? Please. Frowning, Lizzie sets her axe down on the side table. She moved forward and watched it nervously. Relaxed a little. That's when he realized, in her other hand, she was holding a real threat. The cloth was over his mouth and nose instantly, and though he tried to struggle, he couldn't break her grip, and then the chemical fumes overwhelmed him. Fuck! Rose returned in a bitterly cold flood. Lizzie had actually knocked him out by force and brought him to wherever this was. I don't want to have to be this way, John, but I don't have a choice. You're confused, John. You don't understand how much this matters. I'll help you understand. What are you gonna do to me? Don't be afraid, John. Everything's going to be alright. No, it's completely empty. There's nothing inside of me. There's never been anything inside of me. The emptiness craves something. I don't understand. Oh, I didn't understand what I needed for years and years. Eventually, I realized I needed a person, a specific person. But I didn't know who. Occasionally, there'd be a flicker of a feeling. I'd watch someone for a while, but they never felt like... But they were never what I needed. Nothing actually mattered. Until I met you. But how did... Let me finish. For so long, I barely even bear to look at you. The feelings were so intense. And then I couldn't bring myself to talk to you. I was afraid it would all just disappear. But the feelings didn't go away. They got stronger. You were made for me, John. You need to understand that. But you don't understand. Because you're confused. That's why I need to help you. You think this is gonna help? You may be different at first, John. But you'll come to understand. I promise you will. After all, I have days and days with you all to myself. Days and days. Yes! Yes! Part of him was terrified, part of him was furious with her, another part, his depression saw a twisted mirror of his own feelings. But the worst he had ever done was saying kind things, not this. So what did he plan to do with her? Or what did she plan to... Same thing, just reverse. As he looked around the basement, he saw a lot of heavy tools. Some hammers and knives looked like they had been used. She slowed as the ropes was biting in a chair and just wept. And now we beg again. Lizzie, please, just untie me. We can talk about this. Never. No, everything is at stake. I can't take any risks. But isn't kidnapping me like this a risk? John is so kind. You'll forgive me. Especially if I show you how confused you are. Was it even worth trying to appeal to her humanity? Just like Comfort was, at least she answered and thought about it. Lizzie paced around the room for a while, but her under breath that suddenly straightened. And this is where the chain comes in. And we are trying to remove the chain. Request old medication. And then look for weapons. Useful. Really? Oh yes, chemistry classes where I learned how to make chloroform. Well. I'm so glad. Also, I don't know why. My recording messed up. So what happened was, we went over and the table is too far away from the knives. Obviously. So what we did is we moved this table a couple scooches, went over to the knives. We didn't take the one from the wall, no, we got a rusty blade from over here. We scooched the table right on back over, flopped on down, watched the movie with her, hung out, and now we're doing homework, talking about our interests. Oh, it's the same as with my knives. I don't need so many, but I guess I like them a little. They're wonderful objects. Beauty and functionality fused together. Just like Yuri. Wow, that was kind of poetic. You thought so? You actually liked it? I'm so happy. For the rest of the day, Lizzie actually opened up a little more about her interests. Most of them were a little disturbing, but he was glad to see her care about anything other than him. Okay, and then this time, we're going to make something for Lizzie. Keys. Kissed her gently. After a surprise gasp, she gave surprise gasp, then leaned into the kiss. She kissed back like she was trying to devour him. Maybe she really was. Before it went on too long, Lizzie pulled back and stared at him shyly. I'm glad you did that, but John, I'm afraid. Afraid? Of me? Of this? Maybe I couldn't change. I did everything wrong, Lizzie rushed out of the room and slammed the door behind her. She returned later in the day. She pretended the kiss that had never happened. John did the same, but he couldn't help but feel like something was different. Don't try anything? John considered a lot of options. They all felt futile. He He was basically at Lizzie's power, so he might as well accept it. He tried to find a more comfortable position to slump in his chair. He had leaned against the back, so he could stare up at the basement ceiling. All he could hope now was that she would decide to let him go. Maybe there would be something he could do to encourage that, but at the moment he had no energy to think. For now, all he could do was wait. Everything was in place, except him slumped down in his chair. He could only hope that he had done enough. He waited in silence as Lizzie went upstairs, putting away what she had bought. Oh. She opened her... What? Watched two movies, chatting about some things, finished up their last vacation of homework. On Sunday, Lizzie appeared silent and unlocked the chain that kept him bound to the table. He stared at her, wished she would find something to say, but his mouth was too dry to speak. She opened up her hand, palm up, and pointed at his pocket. John realized that she had known and winced. Oh! He moved the knife slowly and handed it to her, and she said nothing. That made things even more awkward, but he couldn't think of anything to say to make it even slightly better. She wasn't waiting for him at school either, though he thought he spotted her peering at him around the corner. Were they back to this again? Well, after what happened, he wasn't going to complain about her giving him space. Hint that you're worried, and then this should give the ending that we want. I'm just worried about Lizzie. She seems a little emotionally unstable. Stable? How exactly? Oh, right, we already did all this. Think out loud. School year got away from him a little. You found the routine. Sky looked gray. Talked about Lizzie. Oh, the county fair. Yeah. Before she can answer, several unmarked vehicles drove up right onto the fairground. What the fuck? Men then emerged, all wore black uniforms. They meant nothing to John, but immediately filled him with such a dread. In a matter of minutes, they were everywhere. Police were patrolling more seriously. Strange men had taken over the crime scene, and the atmosphere had become tense. John? You should go? Exactly. She went with him to his door, and he kissed her goodnight. They both knew things weren't alright, not yet. Thought of uncertainty hanging over him. A difficult time falling asleep. Next morning, for once John felt brighter than everyone else. So had a flag at half-mast, and the class was cancelled like a whole special assembly about the incident. It seemed to have shaken everybody else up to the core, but John felt fine. He'd seen it happen, seen what Lizzie did. He felt comfortably numb. Of course, even at his brightest, he didn't exactly look happy, so no one gave him a second thought. Most suits were wrapped up in themselves anyway. The school had received a note from Mrs. Smith. He received a note from Mrs. Smith saying that he could come in and talk to her about how he felt about the whole thing. Not really necessary, but he appreciated her concern. Till he got inside. Oh, fuck me. Lizzie sat in the chair, obviously uncomfortable, while Mrs. Smith sat nearby, sorting through several bottles of Koitek drugs. Ah, John, glad you could make it. Sure, why is Lizzie here? There are a lot of traumatized couples in the wake of the incident. I thought I should do some counseling, so no one makes decisions they regret. Oh, thank you, but is that really necessary? As he spoke, he managed to catch Lizzie's eye. All he saw was uncertainty, but she was hard to read. Go ahead, John, sit down. I hope this hasn't been too hard on you. I'm, managing. It's hard to believe. The reality is probably set in increasing... the reality will probably set in increasingly over time. I think it might actually be good to increase your dosage. I want to take more. As you have to understand, John isn't well. There's nothing wrong with him. He just needs a little help. That's true. Now that you speak up, Lizzie, have you ever considered taking some medicine medication yourself? Your behavior could probably use some normalizing. What's that supposed to mean? I'm talking to her, not you. Lizzie, would you be willing to take a few medications? Yeah, okay. Guts. I was afraid of this. What's that face? Ew! Oh, I don't like her. Mrs. Smith is yucky. That morning, Mrs. Smith stuck Lizzie's arm with something that glinted silver. He only saw a glimpse of what looked like a syringe from Mrs. Smith. Before Mrs. Smith pulled it back, and it was hidden up her sleeve. The effect on Lizzie was instantaneous. She gravely jumped to the floor, gripping her arm. John tried to get to her, but Mrs. Smith moved to stop him. You should stay away. She isn't stable. What the hell did you do to her? It's nothing but a confirmation about what I already suspected, John. Or John, I'm sorry, but Lizzie is not a normal girl. Shut up, you'll say that. You don't understand. She was exposed to some chemicals, to the same chemicals as the murderer last night. Without having medication, there's no way she could be normal. But she says she would take it. She lied. I don't know how, but she somehow gained a degree of stability. Without any moral compass. This makes her far more dangerous. I'm sorry, John, but she needs to be sedated for her own good. A sedative? Maybe for you. Oh no! Oh no no no! Oh no 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 no! Oh no! Laughing wildly, Lizzie lunged forward. Her knife flickered out and stabbed Mrs. Smith's chest. The other woman stared in shock, struggling with Lizzie's arm, but couldn't prevent the second stab, the third, the fourth. John could only stare in horror as Lizzie stabbed her over and over again. His mind was completely and utterly blank. Oh, still stabbing repeatedly, Lizzie looked up at him. She gave a tearful look, broken by the occasional laugh. I'm sorry, John. It's too strong. It's in my mind. Lizzie, what's going on? The drugs she gave me, I won't be able to hold back. If I stay, I'll hurt you. You can't live with yourself if that happened. I'm sorry, John. I have to go away. Away, but... Do you love me, John? Yes, I love you, Lizzie. I'm so happy. I love you too forever. And Lizzie sliced her own throat. What the fuck? Oh, no! Fuck! Every time I try to get a girlfriend. First she comes at me like this, then she gives me this. John stared in horror as her body slumped to the ground, lights going out in her eyes. He wasn't sure how long he stood there. Somehow by the time they found him, he was holding her body and weeping. He couldn't feel the tears or hear anything they said. The events of the following days barely penetrated the gray fog filling his mind. There was an investigation. He was declared just a victim. Everyone offered him sympathy that they had never offered before, and he didn't care. Everyone chose to forget the string of murders and get back to their lives, leaving him kneeling with her body until the world was nothing but endless gray. Hope glimmers stronger on another path. Reset the game for a better result. What the fuck? Okay. So that was that ending. Okay, so this one is gonna be a little easier, I think. Start a new game. Continue with the original. They don't want to do anything stupid. We could choose any of the options, so we're gonna keep on smiling at her. We'll leave a note. And then we have to let her down again. And then we choose anything. So we're gonna talk to Lizzie. And then talk to the pharmacist. I like how none of them are like, talk to Mrs. Smith. We're not gonna do it. Actually, maybe it would be better if she didn't take anything. Thoughts? Let me be frank with you, young man. The girl is suffering from extreme chemical imbalance. Her only hope is to becoming normal is heavy medication. But you said it would just be temporary, right? No, we're fine. John ignored the pharmacist's protests and headed back out the store. Lizzie seemed a little puzzled that he didn't come out with anything, but didn't ask questions. As he watched, he managed to convince himself that he made the right decision. Maybe Lizzie was completely stable, but she was completely devoted to him. The entire time they walked in the park, she stared at him adoringly. Drugs weren't always the best solution to curing a serious condition. You know that all too well. So, therapy. He scoffed, but he didn't care. He took her hand, walked as fast as he dared out of the alleyway. When they got out, he looked back at Lizzie, and to his surprise, she had a smile on her face. She looked more peaceful than he had ever seen her. I knew you were a kind person, but I didn't understand how kind. I think I understand better now. Glad I met you, John. Dots. Wait here, okay? Forgot something, but I'll be right back. Oh, fuck, she's gonna kill him. Before he could object, she was around the corner. Fuck. John stared, wondered if he should do something, but too drained to do anything more than stand. The entire day in public, plus the encounter with his classmates, it left him with nothing. He wasn't usually outside in the public that much, and though being with Lizzie wasn't bad, he wasn't stable enough for this much interaction. He could hear chatter in the alley and hoped. He wasn't sure what he hoped. A gray cloud covering his entire mind, conking out all thought. And then Lizzie came back. Fuck! Lizzie, what? You're kind, John. Too kind for this world. Where did all the blood come from? What did you do? It doesn't matter now. I wanted us to have years together, but I see that can't happen. Maybe it's better to have one perfect moment. Smile, John. You won't suffer anymore. She moved forward, and before he could back away, her lips touched his. The kiss was brief, yet a shudder went through his entire body, and her knife went into his chest. It hurt, but he was so far from the pain that he could only stare down numbingly. Lizzie gave him a sweet smile and plunged a knife into her own chest. Both of them collapsed onto the street, blood splattering everywhere. And the last thing he felt before the numbness overwhelmed him was Lizzie reaching out to take his hand. Okay. Unsurprising outcome. Yeah, I'm also not very surprised. Alright. And now we have this one. No! Skip. And then we have to smile at her. Say, hey, how you doing? And then we're gonna leave a note. Say, hey, how you doing? And we're gonna say yes with the utmost caution. Say, hey, how you doing? We're gonna talk to Lizzie. Say, hey, how you doing? And then talk to a pharmacist. Say, hey, how you doing? But this time we're gonna choose the one that I can't pronounce. Tweaks of Nalzine coming up. Try to help her rest, okay? Yeah, okay. As he watched, he realized that she was definitely calmer than usual. Her sweet cheerfulness seemed natural, not manic. She even smiled at people that passed them sometimes. Could it really be the word I can't pronounce? With him, the Paxitine had taken weeks to work, and whether or not it actually helped had been really unclear. Then again, Lizzie used her own case. Of course, it took more than drugs for a serious condition, and therapy. The classmates just scoffed. John considered taking Lizzie's hand and pulling her away, but worried about how she would react. But after a moment of hesitation, it was too late. Listen here, you piece of... Without warning, Lizzie stepped past John and directly into his classmate's face. Caught a glimpse of her and she seemed strangely focused. And then he could see... Then Then he could notice the back of her head. John is a good person. Look, she's practically humping you. You shouldn't say unkind things about good people. Her voice on the street. Sweet, but her classmates took several steps backward. Oh, someone very grateful that he couldn't see her face. I had a nice day today. I hope you all have a nice day too. Fuck this, we're out. They scrambled, just barely slow enough that they weren't running away. Lizzie stayed exactly where she was standing, entirely still. He wanted to say something, but his mouth was too dry. It's gonna be okay, John. Sure. But they hadn't gotten far before John realized that he couldn't follow up on that. Oh no. Rushed himself too far. Then it was a miserable slog throughout every second. John gave up on accomplishing anything whatsoever and just laid in bed to feel worse about himself. He fell asleep early and woke up in the early morning, not feeling better. It's impossible after a day of wallowing. Oh, that was impossible after a day of wallowing in himself, but suddenly his energy was back. And then he did the homework. By the time he needed to go to school, his thoughts were gritty and his good mood was gone. But he was ready, high functioning. On side and headed to school. He got far before, without warning, Lizzie walked beside him. Good morning, John. Morning. You alright, Lizzie? Dots. I spent yesterday thinking. I came to some conclusions. Oh, what did you conclude? For a long time, the most I could imagine was being near you, talking to you. But I see that's not enough. You have to be protected. I have to do it. Lizzie. What they said to you, it made me so angry I wanted to kill them. And to be safe. Wait, you didn't... No, I didn't. Dots. But you have to be protected from me, too. What? Since I took the medication, I see things differently. I don't like it. But I understand better now. I don't want you to be afraid of me, John. I'll protect you, no matter what. You seem sad, but so sincere. What was he supposed to say to that? You don't need to say anything. Don't worry. Please don't worry. I'll protect you. That's all I can do. I had a real good time on Saturday. Dots. I mean it. I'm glad to see you happy too. John is so kind, too kind. I'll see you later. She rushed away too quickly, leaving John completely uncertain about what to think. In some ways, she seemed more stable. Yet that wasn't a complete comfort. Lizzie was still carrying her knife. Well, that's good. Glad to see some things haven't changed. There was an occasional moment where he saw a hint of something feral in her eyes. He wondered about what she would be capable of, if she thought it was necessary. And then... Yes, we're dating. What kind of a question is that? Don't get offended. I'm just trying to be concerned of your welfare. You never ask questions like that about any of my other friends. And she's not trying to be rude, but she's a dick. How's it working out for you? No unpleasant side effects? And she wants to go on a date? No. It's super not necessary. It helped me understand our relationship clearly. I don't need it anymore. I know that's silly. I'm just happy it's so romantic. And then we take her hand. And we have to choose this option I hate. I'll stay with you. Oh, John. Lizzie leaned in closer. Even closer, kissing him gently. For the first time in a long time, John tried to relax and just be with someone. She slid, I want you, John, but I want all of you, every last bit of you. I need to know you want it. I never met anyone like you before. I won't lie and say everything has been easy, but one of the only things that brings color into my life. I still can't quite believe you want someone like me, but if you really do, I want you badly. She responded with a kiss with searing intensity, and pulled back and began. Oh my god. found you, I found you. That was amazing. Oh my god. Besides him with a kiss, less intense than before. But still enough to take his breath away. You don't need to worry about that. I have an IUD. Oh, what? Oh my god. Doesn't matter. This means we can't get pregnant unless we want to. Okay, so as good as a blank. The moment he decided that he would just trust her. He had trusted her so far, after all. He wrapped his arms around her and held her close. They were... They were nasty, but they love each other. Spent the night they slept together, literally just laying in the same bed with their clothes on. Lizzie curled up against his side, and to his surprise, he went to sleep very quickly. When he woke up the next morning, he found that she was gone. He could smell something cooking in the kitchen. John climbed out of bed and wandered toward the kitchen. There he found Lizzie merrily humming to herself and working on several dishes at once. Oh, you're awake. I was going to bring you breakfast in bed, but you woke up too early. It smells great. He thought he should hug her from behind or give her a kiss or something, but he felt strangely shy. Lizzie didn't seem to mind, instead urging him to sit down and relax instead of helping. It felt awkward, but Lizzie is in such a good mood that he decided not to contradict her. She bustled about the kitchen, frequently shooting him adoring glances or kissing him on the cheek. There was no hint of instability. Did you sleep okay? I really, really hope you did. Oh yeah, it was fine. Because I never cared about how comfortable the bed was, but then I realized it might be uncomfortable. If it was, I can get rid of it. It's okay, Lizzie. I was completely comfortable. Oh good. I wanted everything to be perfect. I made so many plans, but I thought I might have forgotten something, and now he got up to kiss her. It felt strange, but she was surrounded with blissful cooing noise. Breakfast was finished soon, and an impressive spread of bacon, eggs, and waffles. Lizzie sat and watched him take the first bite before she took any for herself. They only chatted lightly as they ate, as if making up for how heavy things had been before. I helped him fully wake up, though, and reassured him that Lizzie wouldn't do anything crazy. Well, anything crazy in the near future, that is. Did you like it? It's just as good as it smells. Oh, good. I never really cared about the taste of food. I was afraid I hadn't done a good job. I never cared about the taste. It never seemed to matter. But this breakfast tasted good because I was eating it with you. I'm glad, and sorry, I have to go back a second there. You didn't enjoy food? That's kind of sad. That wasn't sad. It wasn't really. It was just not important before. We'll talk about that later. He considered pressing, but decided against it. After all, he hated when people harassed him about the details of his condition. And Lizzie was working through her own problems. He wanted to be helpful, and that meant backing off sometimes. So, I'd like to spend the entire vacation with you, like every single day. But maybe he wants some space too. Well, it's okay really, but can I walk you to the bus stop? Of course. She did walk with him, holding his hands almost shyly. It seemed bizarre that she would be acting shy after they did that. He found out that depression and energy came in waves as well, and it was better to ride them out instead of fighting the trends. Besides, maybe distance would do her a little good too. They reached a stop, she let go of his hand, pressed his sleeve to keep him there. You liked it, right? Liked what? Everything. Our date, and breakfast, and last night. Yes, I did. You're incredible, Lizzie. Still can't believe you're interested in me. I won't scare you, do I? Do you want me to change? He stared at her a moment, trying to decide what kind of question that was, and eventually shrugged. You seem fine to me. Is everything alright? It is now. I actually stopped taking it the day before our date. Dots. Accept choice. Oh. Well, you have seemed better for several days. I guess maybe you didn't need it after all. Sorry for making you take it. No, it was helpful. I saw things much clearer. But I think I have had enough. There's nothing like my condition, but I guess you know yourself best. I'm glad it helped, though. I just wanted to let you know. I didn't want you to be worried about me. I know you're mine now. Not exactly a comforting statement, but it seemed clear that Lizzie was doing her best to be reassuring. She looked at him so earnestly. He couldn't bring himself to do anything but agree. Thanks, Lizzie. Let's take care of our homework, then spend some more time later on a vacation, okay? Okay, see you, John. Watching her go for a little while, he got on and headed back home. Without her constant energy behind him, he felt a little more subdued, but didn't slide into depression. So she's not gonna kidnap me this time? I don't think she is. John still wasn't sure how he felt about everything. He was happy, that was obvious, but he wondered just how stable Lizzie was. Could things have gone very differently under different circumstances? Yes! But they didn't, and he couldn't waste energy worrying about it. For now, he was happy to return home and slide into a normal routine for a while. He spent the rest of Saturday working on the assignments that he'd been given on vacation. It was nothing too bad, but combined with chores around the house, he didn't get everything done. His father called once and said that he was heading on a surprise company vacation. It was just as well. The house felt awkward with him around. As John went to sleep that night, he decided he should spend Sunday finishing his work and maybe even hanging out with someone else. Then he called Lizzie to get together on Monday. It seemed like an appropriate length of time to wait. Despite his concerns, she really did seem content. If she could wait until Monday, maybe he could put his worries behind him. And Sunday morning, he woke up feeling like shit and knew that his plans were already in the trash. He wanted to just lay there. No, he wanted to die. But he didn't have the strength to even contemplate that. So he just lay in bed. But today, he couldn't lay there forever. A sudden urge of motivation struck him, and he managed to crawl over to the phone and call Lizzie's number. Hello? She picked up on the first ring, but he was too depressed to think much about it. Lizzie, Good morning, John. It's not. I'm having a bad day. I'll be crappy company, but I'll come right over. He didn't even hang up the phone. She got on the floor beside it. It felt like an eternity laying there. But it couldn't have been long before Lizzie arrived at his house. She immediately made him get up and eat something, urging him on with boundless energy. Now he had to move a little, just to avoid disappointing her. After an hour, he wasn't feeling like doing anything, but he managed to force himself to go outside, with the assumption that it would help. And it did. For once in his life, he managed to do what Mrs. Smith told him to do and socialize instead of withdrawing himself. To his surprise, it actually helped. By the end of the day, he actually felt better. He hadn't believed that a morning like that one could be redeemed, yet somehow Lizzie had turned it around. Lizzie seemed happy the entire day, but she wasn't insensitive to him. Once he had the mental energy for it, he reflected that she had tempered her enthusiasm to his current mood, always encouraging him just enough. And when he got tired near the end of the day, she noticed and actually left of her own volition. He even managed to get some work done and not feel shitty before going to sleep, thinking he had the best girlfriend in the world. The rest of the vacation passed in a peaceful enough blur. As the last weekend began, they had to go back to school. He ended up back at Lizzie's house. He watched a movie on her large but incredibly dusty TV. God, does this girl ever clean? And now just sat together on the couch. That was nice, John. Yeah, it really was. What the fuck are you doing? I wish we never had to go back to school. I wish we could stay like this every single day. Eventually we'll graduate, then there's no more school. That sounds nice. Though I suppose there will be work. You never really get a vacation until you retire, I guess. I wonder how I do with retirement. Some days it feels like my routines are all that keeps me going. where I'll take care of you. I think I've taken care of everything this vacation. It has been a lot better than usual. Thank you, Lizzie. No, thank you. This has been wonderful. Do you want to do that again? What do we have to do? I want whatever you... I hate it so much! Why me? Why me? Give her a kiss on the cheek. I'm gonna be here with you. I want it so badly. No, I better wait. Like until we're married. Oh my no! No, we can't get married in school. So that would be forever. Can't wait that long. Let's wait a little longer, okay? Just let me get used to having you so close first. I think I understand. Of course, Lizzie, we can wait. I made the right choice asking you. Lizzie snuggled up against him, which admittedly did do that. I think this is better. For the long term. It used to be I couldn't think that far ahead. Everything just ended when you reached it, or when it reached you. But now that I have you, I'm starting to think further into the future. I want us to have each other forever and ever. They didn't have a good answer to that. John just held her a little closer. Lizzie laid her head against his chest, and he kissed the top of it gently. They stayed like that for a while, and for a moment, he was only happy. But then the gears in his brain began turning again. Fortunately, they took him to something other than a mire of depression. I think you were capable of planning before, though. I mean, you got an IUD, which requires a lot of planning. At first, before I met you, I hardly bear to imagine anything beyond that meeting. But then when you actually noticed me, actually cared for me, I started thinking a little more. I knew you always worried and got sad, so I wanted to prepare so that you could focus entirely on me. It was just a simple fragment of a plan, though. My plans then were very strange. Strange how? Lizzie giggled cheerfully, shook her head against his chest. Don't worry about it. They don't matter now. We can make new plans together. Hey, she's planning on fucking kidnapping you. Chloroform. Roofie. Whatever the hell. Several days later, John was assigned a female lab partner in a science class. Fuck. She was an okay match. He didn't know her very well, but she always seemed compassionate about his depression. They were together fine. Just completed their assignment requirements and finished class. But when he stepped outside, he spotted Lizzie watching him and gnawing out her fingers. And not watching him, watching his classmate. Well, shit. The next day, he made sure to invite Lizzie to eat lunch with him in the forest up in their usual spot. She came, but didn't bring any lunch. Or had more for herself. He grabbed food in the cafeteria instead, but the mood remained strange. Are you doing okay, Lizzie? John, you love me, right? Of course I do. Good. Do you need to talk about my new lab partner? Because I didn't ask for a change. The teacher just said, no. There's no need to talk about her. Ever again. Dots. John. John. I love that one. It was obvious. This was obviously not getting him anywhere. Still chewing on a sandwich, John tried to think of something to get her mind off the subject. Start a conversation about her peers. That's not gonna do jack shit. Hello. Lizzie, I was wondering, who's the girl I saw you with last week? Lizzie fidgeted for a bit, then seemed to focus on his words and shook her head. Oh, her. She doesn't matter to me. We don't have to worry about her taking any of my time away from you. I'm not worried. I'm just happy to see you have a friend. She's not really a friend. I don't have any friends. Lizzie, please don't be sad for me. I'm fine with it. It doesn't bother me at all. I wish everyone would leave me alone. but in middle school I stayed away from people and they just gossiped about me. It ended up being more of a pain. In high school I decided to have a friend named Miss Shield. That's who you saw. I see, but you probably picked her for a reason, right? She was an easy target, quiet and shy, desperate for a friend. It doesn't bother me so much. I don't hate her. Don't worry. I'll get rid of her for you if she's a problem. Oh no, I'm actually glad you can interact with someone, even if it's not a real friendship. Good. All else being equal, I guess I'd rather she be happy, even if it doesn't matter that much. She's been useful to me. Dots. Rest of lunch, Lizzie opened up more about her thoughts on people at school. Pretty much everyone she either hated or didn't care about at all. So the conversation seemed to improve the mood between them. Given how well the conversation went, he could almost think that everything was better. A dark part of his mind told him that it could never be that easy. As if fate would taunt him, the entire week was scheduled to be lab assignments. His classmate did her fair share and was friendly enough, but it would have been easy if not for Lizzie. He couldn't spot her anymore, but he was sure she was watching. It was possible that she'd become better at hiding herself. You here with me, John? Sorry, my head was in the clouds. What am I missing? Nothing, we're done. I was saying good job, but you didn't seem to hear me at all. I didn't, sorry, I've been distracted lately. No big deal. Hey, can I ask you a question, though? You and Lizzie are dating, right? Yeah. What's she like? How about you go and make friends? I tried to get to know her once, but it's like she's not even on the same planet. I'm surprised she found anyone. What a bitch! Don't get me wrong, I'm happy for her. I'm just a little curious is all. You are a dick. We are saying positive things about Lizzie. She's a little shy with people, but I really enjoy getting to know her. We'll take good care of her, okay? It'd be a crime to hurt someone who seems as fragile as her. Believe me, that's not going to be a problem. Anyway, I'm just asking out of curiosity. NPR High School only has one lost cause now. Lost cause? A girl with none of us get along with, I mean. But if Lizzie has a boyfriend, I guess that excludes her from that category. So who's left? It's not me, is it? No. It's another girl from our year. I forgot her name now. Actually, she's been dating one of your friends right now. So why is she still a lost cause? As near as I can tell, she regularly gets obsessed with a boy, but it never lasts. But sorry, I didn't mean to throw this much gossip at you. You really did. It's fine. It's really not. Anyway, you headed to your locker. Oh, you headed to your locker too? We should have been walking while we talked. Now that I think about it. No, I have to stay here to do something. Alright, see ya. Being seen walking with her would have been even worse from Lizzie's perspective. John wondered if he already made a mistake talking to her for that long. It's too late to change that now. Lizzie really spent her entire life being jealous of him. For now, he didn't have the strength for multiple relationships, so it didn't matter to him. But later in life, he'd want to have friends too. Maybe it was just women that bothered him. Asking directly probably wouldn't help, but he could. Lizzie was standing directly behind him. Hey Lizzie, how are you? John. Did something bad happen? Or she wouldn't talk to her? You don't really think she's trying to steal me, do you? But she is. She wants to steal your time every single day. What? You just get upset every time anyone talks to me? Dots. Lizzie, I love you. Only you. Thank you, John. I think I always need to hear you say that. So no more problems? Okay, just don't smile at her so much. I'll do my best, but seriously, I wouldn't be smiling at anyone if not for you. Dots. With that, Lizzie slipped out of the room again. John felt as though he should stop her, but it was already too late. He took a deep breath and rubbed his eyes. Hopefully, this would just be an annoyance, not an actual problem. With Lizzie, it was hard to tell. Hello? Oh, but she hadn't done anything dangerous since the tree. Next, John had another session scheduled with Smith, so he grabbed his books and headed to her office. Found Mr. Smith in the middle of work as usual. Today it seemed heavier than normal. John, there you are. Mind if we jump straight to business today? Sure, that's fine. Before he could stop himself, he already agreed to her. John sighed and gave up as he lay on the couch. This was the one day he actually wanted to discuss more with her. But it was easy for him to fold when others were forceful. At least the therapy session made him feel a little better. There was a low hum in the back of his mind, drowning out everything else and giving him plenty of time to think through exactly what he wanted to do. There were 2 questions. If there's anything he could do to help Lizzie, and if there was anything to protect others from her. It was a naughty issue, but in the end of the therapy session, as he got up to leave, he felt he had his answer. Oh, fuck. Okay, we are gonna save here and come back in the next episode. I have been playing this game all day, haven't I? You're seeing all of my sins here. Yes, I record all of it at once. Or at least as much as I can at once. Because I don't have a lot of days. Okay, that one. Yes. Alrighty. So thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you later.